Okay.
Cassie here, as you can see, is invading personal space. We're going to talk about that next after the segment, but I wanted to give the guardian a way to help her learn to focus. So I'm going to teach her a watch exercise. Now, in this exercise, I'm not going to ask the dog to look at me. I'm going to reward the dog after it does look at me. And this is really more in tune of how dogs work or how dogs learn. It's actually called operant conditioning. So the dog does something, and based on what it does, something happens based on what it does. So if she jumps up on me, I might push her or correct her for doing that. If she comes and sits in front of me, I might pet her. Well, if the dog has that happen multiple times, she's like, well, I don't like being shoved and I like being petted, so I'm going to start sitting in front of the person. That's called manding. So what I've got is I've got these tricky trainer treats. I've got about half a dozen in this hand. I've got one in this hand. When I do this, I want to bring the dog right up here in the sitting position. I'm going to have my hands with this treat. I hold it like this, but I kind of collapse it in my hand so the dog can't have access to it. And this one, I just have in the palm of my hand. I just close it. So I have two fists on my knees. And then I'm going to wait for the dog to look at me before I give it a treat. Now, if it nudges me like this, I'm not going to pull away or say anything, but it's just not going to get the treat. All right, so let's see how this goes. Sit, sit. I'm just going to give the first one just so she knows what we have. Are you chewing it like a Tootsie Roll? It's like, yes, I'm going to chew the heck out of it. Come here. So I want to lure her into the sitting facing me. There we go. So now I'm waiting. Watch. I don't think I've seen a dog chew so slowly. All right. So I'm not enticing her. But the second that she looks at me in the face, not in the eyes, but in the face, then I raise it up in kind of a 7 position. Watch. And the second the treat touches her lips, she hears the command word. Come here. Come. I prefer her to be in a sit. So this is an easy command to teach. The up. So touch the nose. Come on. Up. So she gets the treat. So for a lot of times we tell the dog to sit when it's laying down, and we think that, but for them that's going from a down to an up. That's hard. So for a lot of dogs, just that's not going to get it. Up. Now that time she only shrugged up a little bit, but I paid her for that because that's what it's in the direction of what I'm looking for. We're doing training, we do it in small steps. Any indication, we're going to go ahead and do it. So because she's such a slow eater, I'm tearing these in half. So touch the nose. Come on. Up. Touch the nose. Sometimes it helps if you stand up. There we go. Up. So it started out as a watch exercise, but it's a really easy one to teach. But when your dog's laying down, ask her up and then give her the treat for doing it. After a while, she'll sit up or go down, and that you have a little bit more control. All right, so for the watch exercise, what I do is I have just one in my dominant hand, right or left, and again, close them so the dog can't lick it. If they're nudging your paw or licking it, don't pull it away and don't disagree. Just wait. Now, see how she's looking me in the face? That's what we're looking for, is her to learn to look in the face and assign it with the command word of watch. So when she's doing something you don't want, you can later on say watch, and she just sits down and looks up at you. So as soon as so now she's not looking, there we go. As soon as she looks at me, then the motion is like this. I go up about 6 or 8 inches in front of my nose, so it's between my eyes and her eyes. Then I go this direction. So it's kind of like this and then like this. Now this part is always fast. It's always going to be the same speed. Once the dog is sitting and is caught on, then I want to start slowing down this delivery. So I want to maintain or linger, have the gaze linger. Come here. Come. Sit. Watch. So at first we do it, it's watch. It's just like that fast. After a while, the dog starts looking at you faster and faster. Then you take maybe 2 seconds, then 3 seconds, then 4 seconds, but only on this part. This part always goes up. And it doesn't have to go in front of your nose. You just want it to go up between your eyes and the dog's eyes so the dog maintains eye facial contact because the treat happens to be between you. So what you want to do is, I would practice this at home at first when there's nothing else going on. It's best to teach this before the dog eats so that it actually has a little bit more motivation. And because she's such a dainty chewer, I would just take each one of these and just tear them in half so you have 2 of them.
Okay.
So at first you're going to do, maybe grab 6 to 10, and then this is an exercise. This should take like a minute. And then you go about your day, do some, then a couple hours later, do it again. And this time maybe now I have the TV on or the air conditioner's on. And gradually, I'm going to eventually have the TV and the radio, and they're both really loud, or we have people, workers here, or whatever it is. So we want to help her maintain this. And when you're out on a walk with her, I would practice on a walk. Every once in a while, when there's nothing around, stop, turn, look at her, watch, or just, you can, if you have a curb, maybe sit down on a curb somewhere, grab maybe 2 treats, 3 treats. Watch. So it's a nice way of redirecting your dog's attention and causing it to focus. And for dogs that are all spazzy out and then freaking out and then watch. Now I've slowed down completely. I'm sitting and I'm looking at my human, and my human has my full and undivided attention. That's how we teach the watch.
Okay.